Hi everyone, so today I wanted to let you all know how I film my videos. So I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and I've really kind of struggled and grappled with how I film my videos, how I do my thumbnails, how I do my editing and all of that. But recently I've come to the perfect formula that's not quite perfect, but perfect enough to suffice for me. And today I'm going to share that with you. One thing you should note is that ever since I started, I actually haven't changed anything, like invested in anything new. Also, this is not an advice video, this is just about how I make my videos, and you can take advice from that, you can learn from that. That's kind of why I'm doing this video, but I don't want you all to feel like I think I have, like, you know, the perfect way of filming. Anyway, so the first thing I want to start off with is my camera. As I said, I film with my phone. Before, I used to film with a Samsung Galaxy S4. Now I film with a Samsung Galaxy A7, I think it's called. The phone has a really good quality camera and I cannot complain about it. You don't really need to have like a DSLR camera to start a YouTube channel. Most people start on their iPads and their this and their that and what have you. So you're probably wondering, okay, you film with your phone, how the hell do you hold up your phone? When I first started, I just used to stack a bunch of books up and I used to prop my phone onto something. But now I use a selfie stick, a cup, and a sock. So basically I got this long cup from SeaWorld and I stuff a sock in it to give the selfie stick stability, and I just prop my phone onto that. And then I usually put up a chair and a stool and I just rest the tripod contraption onto that, and that's how I set up my camera. So the tricky thing about phones is that they don't have a viewfinder, so you might want to film with the selfie camera, but as we all know, the selfie camera is not as good quality as the one in the back of the phone. So what I actually do to make sure that I am not out of angle is I use a mirror and I adjust the mirror in the back of me like that, so that I can just make sure that I am in the shot and that when I'm holding up a book, it's not like, you know, out of shot or anything like that. Let's move on to lighting. Now, my main lighting source is the thing that makes the world go around. It's the brightness in the sky that we all know. I'm not talking about Beyonce, I'm talking about the sun. So basically, I open out all of my windows in my room and that provides like the perfect lighting for me. But I also have 3 other light sources that I use. The first is my phone camera flashlight. I also use a lamp that I rest on my bed, and then my room light is always on. I actually film at night sometimes, and when I film at night I do the same setup, but I just don't have like the sunlight in the background. But it still looks good, it just doesn't look as like great without the sunlight. Moving on to audio. Now, there's nothing much I can say about audio other than like I don't really have a microphone or anything. I just kind of project my voice, and I'm fortunate enough to have a phone where the microphone is good enough to pick up my voice sufficiently. And the only other advice I have is to just take off your fan, take off your television in the background, maybe do it on a quiet day when nobody is around. The next thing is, of course, editing. So for editing, I actually use Windows Movie Maker, which is just the easiest thing for me to use. But I mean, editing with Movie Maker is kind of like cutting a piece of steak with another piece of steak. It gets a bit rough sometimes, so to speak, but it's free and I'm cheap. I also recently downloaded Lightworks and I don't know how to use it. I know I could go online and do a tutorial, but it looks really hard. Whenever I have to do overlays, I would finish editing my video on Movie Maker and then I would put it into Lightworks so that I could put the overlays in, because Movie Maker doesn't allow you to put in overlays. In terms of editing my thumbnails, recently, as you can tell, my thumbnails have become quite extra. I use 2 softwares to edit my thumbnail. I edit it a little bit on PicMonkey and then I save it and then I edit it again with all the colors and the fancy backgrounds and all of that. And then I go on another software called GIMP where I cut out the outline of the regular picture and then I paste that onto the edited picture so that it looks kind of like cool and like all of the imagery is like in the back of me. And the final thing I have to talk about is probably one of the most difficult things when it comes to making videos, and that is finding yourself in front of the camera. When I first started filming my videos, I was what we call in Trinidad a muck. I could not, it was just difficult. It was just weird speaking to a camera, and I'm sure everybody probably has this experience when you first start filming your videos. It's like, why am I talking to this inanimate object? What if somebody hears me? What if somebody laughs at me? And that process is just something that you will go through and just have to get used to unless you're like a natural in front of the camera. The only advice I could give when it comes to speaking in front of the camera is, first of all, being yourself. when you first join YouTube or whatever particular YouTube community you're a part of, you're going to see other people. You're going to see some people are really like cool and extra and extravagant. Some people might be a bit more laid back, more chill, more discussional, and you might want to emulate all of those things. I've definitely tried that before in the past. I've seen the extravagant, the hyperactive booktubers, and then the more kind of academic, sit down and use big words kind of booktubers. But eventually I found the perfect formula for that, and that is just being me in front of the camera. So another thing that people are concerned about is rambling too much or going off point or not really finding the words for what you want to say. The main advice I can give for that is have an idea of what you want to say, whether that be scripting out your video. I know not all people like to do that. I don't like to do that. But you could script out your video. You can make notes about just a general idea of what you want to say. But most importantly, really think about your videos before. I kind of rehearse my videos in my mind oftentimes before I make them. And that really helps me to prioritize what I have to say and condense it into something that is effective enough for my audience. And again, this is just something that you will have to just work on with practice. It's not something that's just going to happen right away. So if you watch this video, I hope it prompts you to either maybe use some of these tactics to help you out in your video making, or maybe it prompted you to join the booktube community or the YouTube community in general. And if it did, I am very happy for you, and thank you so much for watching this video. In the comments down below, I would love to hear all of your tips and tricks on how you film videos or how you might want to go about filming videos if you start a channel. Other than that, again, thank you for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and until next time, inshallah, keep reading.